Hi, I'm Hale.
And I'm Alex, and we're going to do our end of the year wrap up.
So this isn't a book tag. We just kind of picked some categories and we rolled with it. So it's kind of like an overview of the whole year for us. So our first category is the best book of 2017, pretty standard, but here it is anyways.
So each of us have honorable mentions, so there's going to be more than one book, but we do have a number one choice. So my number one choice was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I read this book literally the day it came out, and I think I was done the book in 2 to 3 days. It was literally so good. Like, I can't even explain to you how good it was. And I started crying at the end, and there's literally a tear stain on one of my pages, and I'm like, it's alright, it's great. I really enjoyed the inside cover of this book. The premise is alternate universe, and they get a call at like around midnight that they're going to die that day. So they kind of like become friends with another person who's going to die the same day. So that was the premise of the book, and it was really cute and sad at the same time.
Don't worry, my best book is much happier.
So my honorable mention is the whole Raven cycle, but I think my favorite of the series was The Raven King, just because it was so, there was so much build up throughout the series of what was going to happen, and I was sobbing, a very ugly sob when I finished this book, and then I was happy again, but it was a very ugly sob.
So my best book I don't have with me because I actually listened to it as an audiobook was Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. Who would have guessed? So the premise of the book is basically it's the sequel to American Gods. However, I don't think you need to read American Gods to read Anansi Boys, if that makes sense. Anansi Boys, you've got this guy whose name is Fat Charlie. That's what everyone calls him, at least. And his father dies, and he finds out that his brother is a demigod. So the whole story is about him inviting his brother over, and his brother basically ruins his life. And it's hilarious because his brother ruins his life in the best ways possible. And then what happens is that someone starts attacking his brother, and Fat Charlie kind of has to like save him. So it's a fantastic book. So I definitely recommend it. It was phenomenal. Honestly, if you're going to read it, recommend the audiobook version. I haven't read the actual book, but the audiobook has a fantastic narrator. So if you're looking for a good audiobook, that is definitely one that I recommend. And then my honorable mentions are In Cold Blood by Truman Capote and Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I literally just finished this last week because it took me so long to get through because I was in a reading slump, but it was phenomenal. So this was actually published in like 1950s. It's a true crime novel about this quadruple homicide where these two guys just went in and straight up murdered an entire family. And the book follows the path of these people as well as the people who are investigating it from the crime all the way to these people's eventual death because they were hanged in the state of Kansas. And it's awesome. Like, that is all I can say about it, really. It's a true crime novel, which I'd never ventured into this genre before, but I definitely will be continuing to. I have a lot of feelings about this book. The ending made me cry because it just wrapped it up in a truly perfect way, and I just think it's a book that definitely leaves an impact on you. So definitely recommend it. And then my other honorable mention is Scythe by Neal Shusterman, which if you've watched this channel before, you know that I picked this book up, and I didn't think I was going to like it, but I picked it up because of the cover. So I'm just reading this for fun, and I love it. I'm so excited for the second book to come out. So it's basically set in a society in the future where they pretty much cured every disease, and so people can just straight up live forever. So in order to control population, they have these people who are called Scythes. And these people just get assignments to kill people, and that is literally their job, to control the population. So you have these two main characters, a girl and a guy, who are apprenticed to one Scythe, and only one of them is going to get chosen. And that's the premise of the novel. Definitely recommend it. The second one comes out in February. So our next category is our worst book of the year.
Alright, this will not come as a surprise, but my worst book of the year is Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. Yeah, you've heard enough about my rants about Glass Sword. It was my lowest rated book of the year at 2 stars out of the 5 on Goodreads. I've only ever rated one book 1 star, so 2 stars is very, very low. I don't even think I rated that many books 2 stars, like I think maybe a handful at most. So 2 stars is quite low. I can't even say I was highly disappointed in this book because I knew it was going to be bad because I didn't like Red Queen either. We suffered through it together. It's the continuation of Red Queen, so I can't really say a lot about it. If you want to see us rant about this for 12 minutes, go watch our rant review. Yay! Yeah, terrible.
My book also received 2 stars, and it was Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And if you watched our TBR for the school year, you'll know that this was one of my books. And I really don't know why I was deceiving myself, telling myself that, oh, it's a classic, it's gonna be good. Despite the fact that it had a pretty bad rating on Goodreads, I was like, yes, I'm going to read it, I'm going to be educated, I'm going to be a good book reader. Which, I do like classics, so, I don't know why, I was just, eluding myself. I mean, I have better books at home that I could read, like Wuthering Heights, that has great reviews. Pride and Prejudice, great reviews. And I was like, no, I'm gonna read The Scarlet Letter. This book sucks. It straight up sucks. And it's in Puritan times. I really hate the main character. I hate the Reverend. I hate the daughter. I hate everyone in this book. This book, it's not relevant in today's time either. At least there's themes in, other classics that you're like, oh yeah, this can apply today. This cannot. So it's completely irrelevant. I cannot sympathize with any character. It was a waste of my time. I never need to read this again, and if I do, I'm gonna be spark noting it, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but I am, because this was one that I had to fight to get through, but I was like, you know what, I started, I gotta finish it now. So that's all I gotta say on that one. So our next book is the book that we felt the most complicated feelings for.
Alright, so my most conflicted feelings for this year had to be Magonia by Maria Hadley. I can't pronounce the middle name or the second last name, not sure. I still don't know how I feel about this book. I really, really, really don't know. It was so weird. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good either. I think I might have given it 3 to 4 stars. I forget. It was very weird. She cannot breathe on Earth, and then she gets taken by her original family. They live in the air, and a lot of them are birds. I can't even explain this book because I don't understand it. So they breathe different air, and then they have kind of a war, and there's a second book, and I was like, no way. It wasn't that good. I don't feel like picking up the second book. So, yeah, I still don't know how I feel about this book. Maybe if I read it again, but I would have to, suffer through reading it again. So I probably won't, and I'll just let myself sit here and contemplate it.
So the book that I had the most conflicted interest over was actually one that I'm letting a friend borrow right now, and it was Anne and the French Kiss. So we're getting the next big thing, which is Lola and the Boy Next Door. I just want to say, I had no issue with the book. This book was fantastic. Definitely read it. It was so good. And then the French Kiss, I had issues with that one. So Anne and the French Kiss is really a great book. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. Read the whole thing. And it was only really until recently, to be honest, that I started to have mixed feelings over the book. And the book is really well written, in my opinion. The romance is really good. The characters I like. The problem I have with it is that it romanticizes emotional cheating. And just straight up cheating. It's tough for me to reconcile my feelings with it now, so I probably wouldn't rate it 5 stars if I read it again because of that reason. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's a good book. It's just that the fact that it really romanticizes cheating. So the next category is our favorite character of the year.
Okay, so funny thing, our favorite characters come from the same series. They are both from the Raven Cycle, however, different characters. My favorite character was Ronan Lynch from the Raven Cycle. Maggie has put out that she's writing a trilogy on Ronan, and I literally freaked out. I was like, I can't wait, I need this right now. I just think he's such he has such a conflicted character type of feeling, because I don't want to spoil the series, so I don't really want to say all that much about him, but all about his dad and his brothers, and then you find out more about his family, and you're like, holy cow. And then the romance. You ship these two for a long, long time, and you're like, please get together, and then you get together and you cry. You're like, oh my god. It was so good. So good. I love Ronan.
Okay, so my favorite character was also from the Raven Cycle, and it was Blue. I don't remember her last name. Blue Sargent, yes. So my problem with this category is that yeah, I liked all the characters from this year, but none of them really stood out for me. So this is my favorite character from the year, but not really my favorite character, if you know what I mean. So Blue was just spunky and really different from most characters that you have. I mean, yeah, she's a typical tough female heroine. However, like, she's like weird, like, really, really weird. Like, I just think she's a very interesting character to read about. Alright, we have 2 categories left, and they're both about covers. So the first one is the prettiest cover that we've had this year, and the worst cover that we've had this year.
Alright, so my prettiest cover this year was The 1,000th Floor by Catherine McGee. I kind of hemmed and hawed over the prettiest cover because I was kind of undecided, but I finally decided on this one because I think just the gold aspect of this cover was really pretty, and like the cursive here, and then this inside gold piece, stunning. Like, literally probably my favorite part about the cover. And the book was good too, so I think that makes the cover even a little bit better. I like the skyscraper, and even the second book, The Dazzling Heights, has a pretty cover too with like the 2 skyscrapers, even though I don't 100% plan on reading that one.
Okay, so the book I have for you, I actually have a stain on it, unfortunately, but hopefully you won't be able to see it, but if you can, it's probably food. And this book is Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Riggs. One of the things I love about this book is that there is no jacket, which I think is awesome because, like, those things are so annoying. Like, I honestly hate dust jackets. So this is the actual book portion of the book, which I think the green looks awesome with, like, this whole, like, viney gold detailing. And this is the hardcover version because the paperback version is different. So I think that's really neat. I also like the font. Like, it just goes. And then you have this weird pattern, which is just, like, I think it fits with the series on the inside covers and stuff. And then for each chapter, there's a fancy little illustration at the beginning, which I loved because I thought this was the prettiest book I owned from this year and read. And the last category is the ugliest book cover
Of the year.
Yeah.
Alright, this is a sheer disappointment. Ready? My ugliest book cover of the year is Traitor to the Throne by Alwyn Hamilton. Tell me this cover isn't ugly. It's terrible. But the problem with it is this is a sequel. And Rebel of the Sands is beautiful. Beautiful. And then I saw this cover and I was like, where's the alternative cover? Because they have like a cover like this for Rebel of the Sands. And I was like, where's the other cover? No, this is the only cover. So one, she changed the covers in the middle of the, like, in the second book of the trilogy. And 2, she made them uglier. I just, like, I feel like if she cut the person out and just made it like a desert scene, because this is all, like, my desert books. Shocking. I feel like it would have been a lot better because, like, the palace back here is kind of pretty, but this ruins it. Ruins it.
So my book that I picked out was from the library, so I couldn't really pick it. But you know what? I picked the next best thing because this is the second book in the series, which, oh my god, is Speaker for the Dead by Orson Scott Card, which I understand was a really, really great book. This is the second book, which also has a very ugly cover. However, you gotta understand that this book is from like the 70s or the 80s. I'm not sure which. It's
old.
Yeah, it's old though. So like the covers weren't that great then. So like,
But they're quite ugly.
they were pretty ugly.
They're
like,
ugly.
Pretty covers were not like, I guess, as much of a thing back then because like every older book I've seen has like a really ugly cover for the first edition. So Ender's Game, the copy that I have was the movie cover, which was also ugly. Like it didn't matter if you had the first edition cover or the movie cover. Both were really ugly. So
Everything was ugly.
Every cover of that book is ugly. So it's just, it counts. I mean, yes, I read the movie cover. However, the actual cover, like the first edition cover, just as ugly. So like, it doesn't matter which one you read. But it's a great book. So that's why I got it from the library.
It's gotta be something about Orson Scott Card. Like, it's gotta be his books. Might be something about it being sci-fi, too. Some of the sci-fi covers are never as pretty.
Do I need to whip out Gemna?
That one's pretty, and The Collapsing Empire is really pretty.
Yes, it does. Pretty good.
But
Thank you very much.
some of them, especially the older ones, you look at them and you're like, wow, that's ugly. So, might be part of it.
Alright, so that's it for this video, though.
Bye!